Organizations do not drift into excellence, they drift into friction. Today, we're starting with the most expensive friction hiding inside every leadership team on the planet. Are you ready?
It was the worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success to help you master disruption.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon. And today's topic is, the system isn't broken, it's running exactly as designed. And that, my friends, is the problem. Welcome to the CEO Architecture Series. This is episode 1 of 4. And here is the one line I want you to carry through every episode this month. Are you ready? Organizations do not drift into excellence, they drift into friction. Today, we're starting with the most expensive friction hiding inside every leadership team on the planet. Are you ready? So, quick question before we get into it. Let's have some fun. If I gave Abraham Lincoln no technology, no dashboards, no AI summaries, and I gave a modern CEO every tool available today, who would make the better decision? Let me know in the comments and sit with that. Drop a fire emoji if that made you slightly uncomfortable, and that's good, because that's exactly why we're here. The problem is rarely the leader. The problem is almost always the system the leader is operating inside. It was a system built for a different era, a different size, a different speed than where the organization is trying to go right now. And the most dangerous thing about a broken system is that it keeps running efficiently, quietly, producing exactly the results it was designed to produce. And even when those results are outdated and no longer the ones you need. So if you can relate, drop a me right now. I want to hear from you guys. And then we're going to jump into a quick story. I worked with a CEO recently. Let's call him David. $40 million healthcare company, smart people, strong culture, real revenue, and yet every quarter his board asked the same question: why is growth stalling? So I asked David one question: walk me through the last 5 decisions that took more than 2 weeks to get made. Then he went quiet. Then he started listing them: a vendor contract, a hire, a pricing change, a technology upgrade, a client proposal. Every single one had gone through him. And it was not because he was a control freak. It was because the system had no other way to produce a decision. Every path in the organization led back to his calendar. So drop a me if you're tracking with me. The system was running exactly as designed. And it had been designed without anyone ever intending to make David the only person capable of deciding anything that mattered. So drop a fire emoji if David's calendar sounds a little too familiar. Here's the thing. We didn't change David. We changed what the system needed from David. And 6 months later, his team was closing contracts and making decisions without him in the room. The system had been redesigned and everything changed. Hey, Lonnie, I see you from South Florida. Thanks for joining us. I want you to write this down. Information tells you what happened. Intelligence predicts what may happen, and judgment decides what happens next. So AI gave every organization an explosion of the first two. It did almost nothing for the third. So I am talking about what happens next. Not the intelligence and not the information. Are you tracking with me? Let me know in the comments. The system you're operating inside was built to gather information. Does that sound familiar? It was almost never built to accelerate judgment. That is gap. And the good news is that gap is architectural, not personal. So let's have a little fun, okay? Here's what I'm seeing. AI summarized the meeting. Copilot summarized the AI summary. Someone asked AI to summarize both summaries, and somehow the decision still did not get made. So drop a laughing emoji if you can relate. Because that is not a people problem. That is a system that was never designed to produce a decision at the end of all that summarizing. We have managed to make indecision more efficient. That is not progress, my friends. That is procrastination with better graphics and a nicer dashboard. What we need instead is clarity. Clarity creates cash, not data, not analysis, clarity. And clarity doesn't come from another report. It comes from a system designed to make decisions, not just gather evidence for them. So clarity is cash, my friends. Drop a laughing emoji if your system is currently reading 17 menus and nobody has ordered yet. Just order the lunch. Okay. Your board is not sitting there thinking your leaders are not smart enough. They're quietly asking whether the system those leaders are operating inside is designed to produce the speed and clarity the market requires now. So speed and clarity. And Harvard Business Review found the single highest rated predictor of CEO effectiveness is not intelligence. It's not strategy or experience. It is decisiveness, the willingness to make the call before every variable is resolved. That is the speed of business these days. And decisiveness is not a personality trait. It's a system output. When the system requires 17 more data points before anyone can move, the system produces hesitation. Every time, regardless of who is in the chair. That's not a leadership problem. That is an architecture problem. So drop a me if you agree. And here are 3 things to build into your system this week. Not things you do yourself, things the system does automatically once you design them in. Ready? Boom, boom. 1, give every decision an expiration date before the analysis begins. Without forcing a function, the system will analyze forever, and the decision will end up back on your desk every single time. Drop a me if you agree. 2, name one decision, one owner for every initiative. That person decides. The moment more than one person is accountable, nobody is accountable. And 3, make reversibility visible. Before anyone apologizes for 3 weeks out loud, ask, if we get this wrong, can we recover? If yes, decide in hours, not weeks. What in your system that's making you agonize is reversible? The system never tells you that. What is the one decision your system has been circling for weeks that would take 45 minutes if someone simply had the authority to make it? Drop one word. It's all about decisiveness, my friends. Decide fast before you have every single variable in place. And one person has to own those decisions. David did not change, the system changed. And when the system changed, everything else followed. Abraham Lincoln made decisions that shaped a nation with a fraction of the information available to leaders today. The difference was not intelligence. It was not tools. It was a system built to produce decisions under uncertainty rather than to avoid them. So he didn't have to circle back. Organizations do not drift into excellence. They drift into friction, and the friction is almost never the people. It is the architecture underneath them. And the good news is you can rebuild it. That architecture can be rebuilt, and that is exactly what I do. Next week's episode is going to be the quiet high performer crisis. So don't forget to tune in next week. Your best people are not quitting. They already left. They just haven't told you yet. So here is your homework this week. Boom. Are you ready? Drop the one decision your system has been circling for weeks, and I'm reading every comment. DM me map if you want to find exactly where your architecture is creating friction before your board finds it. You want to fix it before it is in your results. So fix it first. Happy Wednesday from Portland, Oregon. Go redesign something today. It's all about ownership. I'm Lisa G. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. I appreciate you guys, whether you join me live or whether you join me on the replay. I appreciate every one of you in my network. Thanks for coming. Lonnie, it's so good to see you here. A prior Lisa G show on decisions and leadership problem. Absolutely. I love this topic. I'm going to be drilling down into it during this series. Take the hit and move on. LG for the win. Thank you for being here, Lonnie. I can't even tell you how much I appreciate people joining me live like you, my friend. Happy Wednesday, and I will talk to you guys soon. See you very soon.